Namaskar, this is my 39th lecture and I'm going to deal with one of the most sensitive issues to which we are leading to, which is why there is a silence around this whole issue of conversion. And I'll start with a little story from my book that just got published on Hindu Genocide. And it's very interesting to see that. And then I'll go into the theoretical part. Let me read that out. And I have this blog on my Swaka, on our website. This is from Noakhali, or my book is there in Amazon. You can check it out. It's Untold Hindu Genocide and Ethnic Cleansing. It's written by Sandeep Mukherjee and translated, annotated, and commented on by me. I'm quoting, "In the morning, an individual has come to put a rope around a cow. 'What is your name?' we asked. 'It is a Muslim name. He's wearing a lungi.' We understood that he is a latent covert Hindu. We told him to take the name of Rama. He said, 'They'll kill me.' We said, 'But Gandhi is here.' And he said, 'Everyone who was a Hindu will remain a Hindu.' 'Yes, we heard that,' he said. And we said, 'Then sing Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sita Ram.' Music, singing and dancing started in the streets. A couple of Muslims came out of their houses. They politely asked some questions. We understood that with Gandhi, things have started to change." I don't know how much it changed, but that's what he says, although I don't agree with everything he says. Now, I will give a Freudian analysis here. Conversion, the word conversion, which we'll go into. Before that, I want to talk about Freud's theory of conversion hysteria, which is a pathology. According to Freud, and this especially happened with women, which is why we feminist theories talk about this quite a bit, that when something is repressed, some desire is repressed, for example, a memory that's very hurtful is repressed, it comes out as a physical symptom. And he used to see a lot of his patients, women, who complained about headaches and backaches and so forth. And it didn't show that there was anything wrong with any of physically wrong. And then he devised this theory of conversion hysteria, that it's actually their trauma inside, being raped, being abused, being domestic violence and all that they cannot speak about because of social constraints. And that is what's coming out as a pathology in the physical form. So it's conversion hysteria. Now, what is conversion and how do we deal with the converted Muslims of India? I'm reading from the same book that I talked about earlier. This book, it's available on the internet. So you can read it, but let me read this. I'm going to read it slowly. But those, the Islamic flag, the Turco-Afghan flag was flown in India, but these were not the flags of the 98% of Muslims in India. The Turks, Iranians, Afghans, Arabians, etc., that invaded India as alien races having Islamic faith, and later on to others, the same category that entered into India as job seekers, could not have formed more than 2% of the Indian Muslims, and 98% of the Indian Muslims were exploited by these 2%. Why? Because they were all converted people. These didn't make much sense to them. And they were, and according to these authors, these 98% of the converted were more severely exploited than the Hindus. Hindus were tortured, robbed of their fortunes and economic prosperity. The temples were desecrated. Both the Hindus and Buddhists converted to Islam were robbed of their innate culture, moral and ethical way of life. Now I'm reading something very interesting. Conversion was not merely a shift of faith. Conversion is much more deep-rooted, much more question of society and civil life. In my previous lecture, we said how the dharmic religions, like the African ones, is through praxis. And that is what is destroyed, because now they have to do practices which are alien to them. So, now the authors are saying they're constantly tutored those alien ideas, and gradually grapple them within 1 or 2 generations. This deculturation is the area for which the ex-Hindu Indian Muslim could have been severely exploited by the alien Turks Afghans in both ways, economically and socially. Economic world functions in different objective realities than mere shifting of faith. The economic conditions of poor Buddhists and Hindus converted mainly from the artisans class did not improve at all as the Turk Afghans were invading martial people, themselves fortune seekers in pressing ways and means. The Indian Muslims were the worst sufferers under the Islamic Sultanate, which lasted from 712 AD to 1860. 98% of the Indian Muslims were rationally termed as Al-Jab Muslims, as opposed to the Ashrafi Muslims whose blood was from all these alien lands. And they had were oppressed in 4 prongs. Seclusion from their natural habitat, social habitat, like the Zongas, they were now part of the other. Loss of cultural identity, migration from traditional custom and academic institutions, they were probably not let into the gurukuls, and finally enslavement happening in poor economic conditions under the alien invading rulers. The turf Afghan invaders and others as a whole could entangle converted Indian Muslims more in severe colonialism. Now, it's very interesting. What they're saying is this: our research work, which enlisting more than 200 names of Amir, Umrah, Shepai, Subadar as sample surveys during Sultanate and Mughal period, did not find a single name belonging to the converted Muslims. Once converted Muslims occupies the throne of Delhi during the intriguing times of minor Khaljis could hold on to the throne for a very brief period. There's just one name they found, Nasiruddin Khushru Shah, from 7th April 1320 to 6th September 1320. This is a single instance. Otherwise, they did other work. They were not in the top plan-making decisions. Now what is happening? They are carrying that trauma within them, that they were not this, neither this nor that. And I'll make another video on that ambiguous identity and psychoanalysis. So they're out of their own traditional habitat, but they're not fully accepted in the new culture. So this is a trauma like the conversion hysteria. And what did they do? They expressed it physically by converting, torturing others and forcing them to convert, which is exactly the one that we see in Noakhali in that short little anecdote that I read out. So the conversion hysteria, deep down there is a trauma which is psychical, but overtly you act it out in some physical ways. You say, I have a headache. It's also kind of a victim mentality, attention gathering. These were others in 2 cultures. Now they're acting out. How? Physically, by forcing, torturing, converting others. Of course, the ideology of the caliphate and etc., that's there, the jihad. But this is the very interesting psychoanalytic reason also. This is a short video, and the identity of these converted people are something I'm going to go into more with psychoanalysis, etc. So that is all for this video. It's a short one. And please subscribe, comment, like, and donate to our organization. As I said earlier, swakah.in. You can go and find all my blogs there, and I'm going to go deeper into psychoanalysis and feminist theory on this whole point of conversion, iconoclast, and so forth. And we have plenty of examples of that. And then I'm going to bring about one novel by Sri Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, the author of Vande Mataram, and I'll show how this trauma kind of goes around and replaces. This is also part of feminist theory. Thank you. Namaskar.